Okay, so morning, guys. Thanks for being a part of the crew again, as always. So bringing up the discussion from last week's post on Q&As. And my attempt is to be able to do these a little bit more frequently and on time. So plan is, moving forward is try and get at least one of these up once a week, providing you do your part and ask me some questions. That's why it's here. That's why this group is here. So don't expect just handouts of me just giving you shit. It's not the way it goes. I'm here to help you answer your questions that are coming up with your coaching and your training. So in-season training week, in-season loading, strength and conditioning, blah, 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 all that sort of shit. So what we are looking for and looking at here is two things. Obviously, in-season goals. You need to obviously maximize freshness the whole time. Okay, that's the most important thing. Are my players fresh? Are they healthy? Are they happy? There's huge three things to think about with any of your programming and any of your work that you're doing. Then what you're going to be doing is from there is then asking yourself the question, what does my training volume look like? Where has it come from? Where does it need to go? And how am I, as a coach, going to push the needle in the right direction, basically? So within that, the first thing is always the consideration of the work that's done previous, because remember, in sequential order of training, if you want to vertically integrate it, if you want to do block, periodization, conjugate, whatever, some form of training precedes the stuff that you've just done. So, and your question needs to be, why have I done the previous work? What did that work look like? What was the stress of that work? And was there the desired adaptation? So there's no point monitoring anything if you don't know what you're monitoring. And that's a huge important thing to understand. It's like, yeah, you can have a fucking great program on paper and you can be able to communicate that to athletes and stuff like that, and it all looks singing and dancing, but the question is, does it actually work? And that's the crux of what you need to get into, because then if you start to talk about in-season monitoring and training volumes and loads and stuff, then that can all just be thrown out the window if you're not getting the adaptations that you need. So which goes and leads me to a question that I got on Instagram the other week, was that why, what happens if you've got an athlete that's got a weaker nervous system? That's looking outward at the athlete's response to the training in a negative way, when in reality, probably the response to that training is that the training is too high, so therefore the athlete is detraining. So if you remember that for every training session, every rep, every action that you do in the physical preparation arena of training is going to create a subsequent effect of fatigue. Okay, now you can start considering that with all of your program. The subsequent effect of fatigue is there to allow adaptation to occur. When you get stabilization of positive adaptation is huge. Consolidating your efforts is huge, because what you're going to have is, obviously in season, you're going to start looking, if you go back and look at all the Bondarchuk work and the classifications of fatigue, you're going to have your immediate, you're going to have your accumulative types of fatigue, your residual fatigue. So they're all going to be starting to creep up. And what's that going to do to your gym loads? It's going to make them go down. And if the gym is harder, perceived harder for the same load, it's because the athlete's level of fatigue coming into the gym is too greater to actually commit the task. And this is where velocity-based training comes in, and it's quite nice. But the crux, and I'll take you straight back to the beginning, is that where has your programming been? What is the journey that it's been on? And that shape, how has it made that form, and where are you going to work from it there? You know, also level of athlete is huge, because obviously if you're doing like specialized work with 12-year-olds, it's not going to be great for you. You know, so it's again having the lowest hanging fruit and hammering it and hitting it hard. You know, you said specific interest to rugby union. So let's look at the week now. So if you play Saturday, you're still going to be significantly fatigued on the Monday. If you play a full 80, regardless of what position you are going to be significantly fatigued. So Monday is probably not going to be a heavy day. It's not going to be a power day. It shouldn't be. Tuesday is when you're back in business and you've got your team session. So there you want to be looking at some sort of power maintenance, okay, or power exposure. I don't really like the term maintenance because it's counterintuitive. It puts you in a stabilized state. What you're looking for is a reduced volume, higher intensity work. So you're just cutting the volume out of your training to allow you to keep pushing the needle in the right direction. So what does that look like? I just did a post about it actually on the Instagram, and I spoke about it in my seminar greatly. It's the sequential order of exercise progressions working back from the goal in hand. So if you've got your progressions and you've got some streams that you work towards, probably in season, it may be a case, depends, you know, if you've had 6 or 7 tough games, is regress 2 or 3 stages down, reduce the volume out, and just get them working through the reduced complexity of the specific exercises, which is going to allow them to just keep pushing the needle, because competition is stress. Competition is training. Yes, you should be prepared to supersede that, but regardless of it, if you come away from it, no one ever isn't tired in a game. So then obviously your Wednesday is going to be your day off. Your Thursdays, you start ramping your CNS and ramping velocity through the week. So it's lighter, faster on a Thursday. Friday, maybe you could do, depending on what type of athlete they are, it could be a heavier potentiator. Again, reduced volume, heavy potentiator, more like accelerative strength as opposed to speed strength. And then obviously Saturday you play. In terms of monitoring, it really depends what you've got exposure to. So when I was in the academy at WASP, we used broad jump and put classifications off of 95%, PBs and 90%, and use cutoffs and change the training that we did there. I've also used counter movement jump. Again, really, really quick and easy. If you've got the tools to, everyone's got a tape measure. Not everyone has got a jump mat. And it's just tracking that over time. What I've found is looking at velocity in those things, because if you are, if you're still fatigued, you can still jump the same distance, but just your regime of work changes, and your muscular work and fatigue comes into play, so your body will cheat the system. So that's a little 8-9 minute spin on it. I'm conscious in keeping these short, but if you want me to elaborate further on that, then we're good to go. However, so first for you guys to notice, I have another 3 or 4 seminars booked in this year. One in Manchester, a couple in London, and I'm going back to Birmingham. So Manchester, we're looking at a full day in a 10,000 square foot facility. Birmingham will just be a half day looking at exercise progressions and sequencing. And then London, we're looking at a speed workshop and a rehab workshop / seminar. So keep an eye out for those. And again, you'll all get a decent discount. If you came to the speed seminar, you're going to get 50% off the speed workshop. Okay, so it's going to be a massive discount, and because obviously you've got all the nuts and bolts of that. So we're just going to go and apply and spend a good half day just applying, repping, really dissecting it all. All right, so let's keep the good life going, and I will speak to you all soon.